Hey guys, so I wanted, if you haven't watched that video, you might be wondering why we're out here again. Hey guys, welcome back. Hope everyone had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year depending on when this comes out. As you can see, we're in a little different environment, we're in a different place. This is my bedroom back at home in Hong Kong, visiting my family for the New Year's and holidays. These videos for the next coming weeks are going to be a little different. If you're new here, my name is Jackie, and in this channel we dive into my learning process of 3D printing from start to finish. When I started this channel, I had zero knowledge at all, and this is a perfect segue to my video, which is the things that I've learned so far. Essentially, when I switched my filament from PLA Pro to PLA by Overture, I had big base layer adhesion issues where nothing would really stick to it and it just become really stringy. I tried many things from tampering with the temperature of the heat bed, how hot I'm heating the nozzle, different things, and nothing really worked. The only thing that did work after looking through Reddit was applying some glue to it, and with that everything just started magically sticking. So if you're encountering any base layer adhesion problems, nothing's really worked, you've tried everything, I would try glue. If you haven't tried it, hairspray I've heard also works, but I haven't had experience with that, so I wouldn't know. A lot of people forget to clean their print bed. I've realized in the comments, there's constant reminders. I always forget to clean my print bed. Once I cleaned it, everything gets better in terms of adhesion and just print quality. So always remember to do so. I never really had that problem. I had this thing where, especially with glue, after about like 5 prints, you'll get to just like residue. You'll get the end residue, which doesn't really look good on your print, and also it doesn't stick that well. So I would clean my print bed, and then I would reapply the glue if I'm using Overture's PLA. But regardless, if you're not using it, you should still clean it every so often to make sure the grease from your fingers aren't really sticking to the print bed, and it's clean, it's ready to go. The way that I clean it, and a lot of people have suggested this, is use warm water or hot water to really rub the plate, dry it off, and then apply alcohol, so isopropylene. It's just a couple sprays, and then wipe it off and let it sit until it's dry, and then put it back onto the print bed. Make sure that your working surface is stable. I've never printed from the floor. The reason being is when I searched it up online, it said that a lot of dust might get into it, but if you don't have a better surface, you should try. What I have tried doing is printing on, for example, the kitchen counter, the dining table, and then like an unsupported folding desk, and then now a supporting folding desk. With all those in consideration, the worst quality of print came from the kitchen table, where it literally was just shaking the whole table as it was printing. The best was actually the kitchen counter, where nothing moved. It's super heavy duty, so that worked the best. This is a big one that I recently discovered before I left. AMS printing is very wasteful. If you don't know what AMS is, it's essentially multicolored. So with my Bamboo A1 Mini, I bought an AMS Lite, which is how you kind of switch or quick switch filaments. You can load up 4 different colors, and then in your printing, it will basically change color as it goes if you want to print different colors in one single design. It's super fun, especially for keychains. You can see different colors come out. It's awesome, but it's very, very wasteful. What I say by that is the computer or the Bamboo Studio isn't smart. Even if you auto-arrange it and whatnot, it doesn't really know how to optimize printing with a 3D printer, because it prints in layers. It doesn't actually print one thing first and then print the other. It prints everything in the same layer. So if they're different colors, you're wasting a lot of filament because it's switching colors every time, and with every single switch it has to purge some filament. That's when I realized, okay, the computer doesn't really know what it's doing. I need to make sure that when I'm 3D printing, at least multicolor, I'm optimizing the layers so then there isn't too much switching between different colors, because the less switches you do, the less you waste. If you're printing small, make sure that the model is actually printable in its measurements. I have to really keep in mind, are these dimensions realistic to print out? I just use a caliper. Another way to do it, if you want to be more precise, that I also do, I look at the actual dimensions. If I'm going to print something that says it's 0.4 millimeters long of a detail, that's going to be one, stroke off of my 0.4 nozzle and 2 strokes off of my 0.2 nozzle. Is that going to be realistically steady? Will that hold? These things are the things that I consider, especially when printing things that are smaller. Clearance tolerances. So for those of you who don't know what those are, clearance tolerances are essentially when you print things in reality, things aren't exactly, or they might not end up exactly like you want the model to be. So it's really important to leave tolerances in your clearance, especially if you're putting parts and assembling them together. I learned this really early on with my first product that I made with the Samsung T7 hard drives, where I realized I didn't leave tolerances. For me, my rule is if you want it to fit like really tight, 0.15 millimeters will work. If you want it to fit right, with a little room, it's like a 0.2 millimeter of tolerance. So these are just the ones that I build into it. Maybe they're a little too big, but for me that works just fine. If you're testing product samples and you want to test size or fit, the best way to do it, that saves filament as well, is printing one layer of it instead of printing the whole model. This is something I also learned from my first video, where someone in the comment section said that, you know what you can do? You can slice your model so it's just printing one layer instead of the whole thing. This way you save a bunch of filament. And when he wrote that in the comment section, I actually didn't understand it at first, because I was like, what do you mean you can slice one layer? But as soon as I got that visual in my head and I realized what he was saying, I was like, oh, I could have saved so much filament. The way that I realized this is when I was printing gifts for my friends and family. There are some of the gifts that I customized and changed the shape of. But once I changed the shape, especially on Blender, and you save the file, it's hard to go back. You kind of lose that knowledge of what you changed before. Simple documentations, like for example, I scaled it down by 0.85 on the x-axis, on the y-axis, will simplify your life so much easier if you decide to do more revisions down the line. I spent a lot of my time wasted just remeasuring things, when in reality, if I just measured once, documented it, I wouldn't have wasted that time at all. And just because it's the New Year's and I want to give a little bonus for the new 3D printers out there, you guys who are learning, who are like me, we're beginners, we're learning more, don't be afraid, put yourself out there and also really just keep printing. I feel like the best way to learn is really just to keep doing things, even with my journey, with the comments, although there's been a lot of help, there's also been some negativity, some criticisms that say, this is not a product or whatever, this is a bad video. Ignore those people and just keep doing what you want to do. And then eventually you'll get even better and better at it, because I'm learning every video that I make, I'm learning something new. And with every print that I do, I'm learning something new. With every model that I make, I'm learning something new. So if you're like me, you're just a beginner, you're trying to learn, just keep pushing. And I think eventually we'll all just become those 20-year-in gurus in the comment section that are giving us advice. We'll be the ones giving people advice. So yeah, just keep doing, keep printing, and I think that's the most important part. Just make sure you're having fun with it. Really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate you watching this video till the end if you're still here. And I'll see you next time. Thank you guys so much. Hope everyone is having a happy new year, and I'll see you.